All right, Cindy here with FuturestraderElite. Had a power outage. Hopefully everybody can find their way back. Going on swing. Had a power outage. Taking me a minute to get everything to reboot back and get my internet back. Hopefully everybody can find their way back here. Yep, in the middle of a trade. Power goes out. Took a bad hit. By the time I can get my have stops in, lost more than I would like. I was walking on a treadmill. Treadmill stopped right under my feet, about busted my face. Hey, crazy. See, we're getting a nice little pullback here. A retest of the previous day high, maybe. See if they want to follow through. More to the downside right here. Job swing. Yeah, I got in too late here. Wasn't even paying attention. Try to give it a little room to breathe and see. Maybe I can make some back from the loss I took when I lost power. Oh, 15 points. Like to see them find find their legs again, you know, down here off of this little drain off. They cooled it off real good, and see if they can get it back up here above that gold or the R1 pivot whole price and keep marching up. See if they want to keep grinding this higher. Wow, that wasn't very nice. $7.50 market time. Excuse me. I'd like to see them try to march this thing here back on up, back to the high, but I don't know if they're going to be able to have that in them. But if they could march it back up to the high, you know, maybe get up here and break above 60, then maybe if I can find some kind of pullbacks, I might add to my position one con at a time and see if they can get this grinding back up to that high. But they're going to have to get it up here above the 50 on the 1 minute, which is around 50. Look better above 65 though. Going on, Remon? Glad you found us. Got back. I lost power. Lost power. Came out of nowhere. I don't even know why. It's not even storming or nothing. Pushing. lost most of my people from nobody come back to having a notification set. Push. Push. Maybe they want that more downward, bigger downward move here. Okay, so get to work. See you, Special K. Good luck on selling the cars today. Yeah, it was pretty bullish there at the beginning. Ain't looking the greatest for sure. Now they may come down here though and keep it above 30K, retesting this previous day high. See, decided to do here. It's hard to believe they broke at 30K and run it up the way they did, and then bring it back down here and then not protect it because of the psychological hold number. But we've made some huge moves to the upside, so maybe they want to go clean up the chart on the downside. Maybe possibility. I mean, we got this 30K level here, the previous day high, overnight high. You'd almost think that they would bounce it out of this zone. But I think I'll sit on the sidelines for hold off. I think that'll be my second. Got pretty good inbound. 15 market open. Right down here. Got some 15-minute imbalance right at the orb high from about like 38.40 to 974. FP, it just depends on how aggressive you really are. If you're taking your time or if you're being a little more aggressive. Most times, if I'm being aggressive on a 50K eval, if it's one I can pass in one day, I'll pass it one day a lot of times. And then, if you take your time, because maybe say you got a certain amount of days you got to trade it or something or some type of consistency thing, just depends, if I'm not in any kind of hurry, I'll just trade them light and take my time. And sometimes I'll do them in 4 or 5 days. No, not necessarily that the strategy is different, but I might go in heavier. I don't. Sometimes if I want to pass one in one day, I have to trade a little heavier than what I would on a funded. I'll put more risk on the table for the eval. But a lot of days I'll be trading, I'll copy trade evals, say evals, and a funded or two, and then I do other evals with other funded. That way I'm mixing it all up. So a lot of times right now I'm trading my evals the same way I would have funded. But now if I disconnect my funded from my evals, I might get a little bit riskier. That makes sense. Get out of this market. Still on sideline. Then if you're trading say like evals for somebody like take profit or something, I think you got to trade them for 5 days. Then there's no reason to really uh, put up a lot of risk because you can do some decent base hits and stack them up. Yeah, micro. I don't. I think you're right. It'd have to be looking a whole lot different than what it is right now, if they are going. Nice job, micro. I would say your best bet if you want to for the consistency part of it, you would. I don't know how new of a trader you are, but you would. It's not a bad idea to trade your evals the same way you plan on trading your funded. Same risk, same strategy, same setup, same risk. That way, once you pass it, you just keep doing the same thing you was doing. Would be the safest route. Nice, Mike. Keep wanting to get back in this long, but can't do it. I'm gonna have to wait and see some kind of confirmation about them wanting to actually try to turn this back around before I end up trying to think it's gonna go back up and it don't, and they just keep grinding it down to the downside. I hurt myself. Micro, when you go from passing the eval into funded on Bullinox, yeah, it's still a sim account, uh, just a funded sim account where you can take payouts out of it. It's not moving you to a live. It just depends on if you ever get moved to live. Every prop firm transitions from eval to a sim funded first, and then they choose people to move from sim funded to live. And when you go to live, that's when you get on real money, like real money. Oh wow. Well, you could look around, at other brokers, and see what they charge, drop or Webull and stuff. I mean, maybe Robinhood. I hear people talking about that. I think I've never used Robinhood. Is live harder than what we use now? I've never been moved to live. I've only been asked once. I didn't do it. I don't really know what the difference would be in actual real time charts. Because I've traded, my own money in real markets, and I don't, without witnessing it myself with my own eyes, they make it sound like your fills and slippage and all that can be a lot different. I don't know though, without actually doing it on futures, in the live thing, live environment. I've heard the same thing. I've heard people complain and complain and say they never want to do it, and then you'll talk to some other people and they don't mind it. So Cole, we got a guy here in chat. I don't know if he's on right now. He was live, funded live with Take Profit. I'm pretty sure they put him over to. They took Cole and put him into live with Take Profit after his very first payout. I'm pretty sure that's not how that rolls, but that's what they did. Yeah, yeah. This is some nasty price action going on. AR is up around 18. I'm not feeling real brave to put any of mine back in the market just yet. When the power went out and when my power went out and we lost stream, I was in that trade up here still, that long trade up here, and I didn't have any stops in. By the time I got all my stuff up, we took a bad pullback there. I was in funded accounts and bad hit like that. I kind of want to wait and see, if maybe they come on down some more and test this area where its previous day low is. Maybe the 15-minute 50 say between 9:10 and 9:20 maybe. Instead of trying to get caught up in scalping this here, trying to get long on these drops and support the trend line or maybe. But crazy. Takes 3 or 4 minutes to grind up, and then they throw in one 1 minute candle, give it all back. I was looking live a minute ago. Prettiest chart. blowout. Oh, oh. And an price action is awful. Coming down here though, I was talking about I wanted to see them what happened if they come down here to the 910 to 9 15-minute 56 here on this previous day low. They could make their way down there, the way they're grinding. If they don't protect this area, it'll break structure on the 15-minute time frame to the downside. Maybe if they were to slow grind this down on a little bit more, and then all of a sudden throw in a hard red candle like this big one back here, get a little closer, and then throw it in, and then push it back up, and maybe that'd be the bottom, possibly on the day or on the pullback. Don't forget to smash that like on the stream. If you're liking the stream, help push it out there further. Of course, we had to restart the stream, and maybe we pushed out this one out there. People can find us. Looks like that filled all the imbalance on the 15-minute. FP said, how do you define price action versus taking a trade based on? Well, when I'm thinking about price action, I think about, say, for the last hour or so, we've been in this downward grind. So it's bearish right now. But now I pinpointed this zone about 40 minutes ago on the 15-minute chart, and our momentum, based on the setup, the momentum on the 1 minute, 2 minute, and 5 minute is exhausted right here to the downside. Pretty good. And usually some of your best long trades to go long, everything on the chart will be screaming bearish and don't do it. Yet it's the best place to get in. So you also got to take the ATR into consideration. You know, how high is it? How volatile is it? Is the ATR, moving a little slow? Are we mid-range? High? The higher the ATR, the higher volatility. So you got to be careful. So, if price action comes into this box, if they bring us in this box and price action immediately bounces out of this box back to the upside, then I need to start thinking about and it starts building some structure on the 1 minute chart, I need to start thinking about my entry and whether or not I want to take this trade. I do want to take this depending on what it does to it. You know, just now swept through this box, but that's fine. It might sweep the box. I want to see if we protect though. Even if it were to close the downside, can open up, push, and close back above this box. It really comes down to what the next 2 or 3 minutes does around this area to whether or not I want to touch it. If we don't protect here, we break structure on the 15-minute chart. So, you know, we could have more downside coming in a structure break. And quite a bit of it, actually. You gotta, and you also gotta watch because every time they make it look like they're wanting to do something bullish, like they just start pushing that up, and whenever they push right back down like that, and they've been doing that several times in this run to the downside. So now, you know, they're below it. Now the 15-minute, what matters the most is when the 15-minute candle closes, is it going to be back above this box or below? It can do whatever it wants right here because we still have 3.5 minutes before the 15-minute candle closes. They could come down here and tap the golden pivot with the 30-minute 50 EMA, which is also a confluence for a bounce, but things aren't looking that great on the bull side. So we wait and see if they do tap this, if they bounce, or we wait and see if they build something here, a little mini structure, and push this back up into the zone, over the zone box on the 15-minute chart. If the 15-minute candle closes back above this box, then structure held. It went through structure, but structure held if it closes back inside of it. Has to be above this box. So what I'm going to wait to see, that candle closes in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 15 minutes. 15-minute candle closes, say, back up above this box, maybe this wick right here, which is around what, 922. They can push this and close it green on the on this 1 minute chart. If it gets above this box and the 15-minute candle closes, that tells me might be a good spot here to take a long position back to the. Have like a minute 50 on the 15-minute chart. And this is what can keep you safe because, you know, if you're just trading the 1 minute chart, this is why you should always be looking at other time frames. If you're just trading the 1 minute chart and say it closes up above this box right here and I go ahead and get long, yet I still have time on the 15-minute candle to push back down like another 1 or 2 minutes, I need to wait for the confirmation of that candle to close. You know, what's going on, OHAD? OHAD. Glad to see you. Glad. So we got about a minute and 10 seconds now. See, whereas it looks like we're missing entry here. Like, look, boom, boom, boom. It might make you think, man, I could have entered down here. We already had this much of a move, you know, 885 to 925 or better. But the 15-second close, we got 40 something seconds. This could still push back down into this box. Yeah, definitely. It's a nice long if anybody snatched it down. About 20 seconds. It looks like they're going to close that 15-minute candle up here. So unless they get a bad push down. There it closed right there. I'm going to start small here with 2 because it may still try to pull back into this area a little bit. But right here, it's structure on the 1 minute. So if we can push above the orb high here, push up a little bit, I'll put a stop in. I think the question is did they find enough legs by sweeping this area down here where structure was on 15 minute to get a push back up here, you know, to the 50 on the 1975 area? I don't know. Yeah, FP, the price action is, especially to be so bullish at the open, and then we had this drain off like that. Drained off, you know, a couple hundred points or better. And now they're fighting to even, you know, they should be able to easily push this on. You know, they need to get back to 945. Shouldn't be that hard for them to push 15 points up here on a candle on the bullish side. Got to kind of make you think, well, maybe there's not enough bulls stepping into place. You know. Push. Get up to 945, Mike. Need to break structure here. Each little structure break can grab momentum to the upside because as you take each one out, before you know it, you're on the 2-minute structure, 3-minute, and then you're on a 5-minute structure break, and then the 15-minute. So each one can add to the next break if the bulls will step in. Nice little here. Follow that tight with that one. Protect under this candle for now and see what kind of push we're going to get. Now, question here is going to be, because of the drain off, are we going to reject off the 5-minute 50 coming up the bottom side, and we're at the prior day close, this purple dotted line right here under the 5-minute 50, and then you got the 1-minute 50 above that. So there's a lot of confluence for a pullback here, possibly. Plus momentum's getting extended on the 1 minute. Need to move this up and lock this. I'm trying to get back what I lost when my power went out. I lost, took a bad hit in my phone. Bad hit. I never take losses that big in my funded account unless something stupid happens. Like the power going out and I couldn't get back on. Time to do it. Okay. I get it back. Slow and steady. Being patient is what it is. I knew that I was going to try to at least cut my loss in half. So I needed to wait for the perfect opportunity to wait for them to turn this around, you know. Thanks, FP. FP, I usually don't put any. Well, I guess you can see now what I'm doing with my stops, but you should always base your stops on, well, I base my stops on structure. Some people do R&R or this or that, you know, and then once it starts going my way far enough, I just start following the bottom side of the candles because I don't want to give that much back. And then as far as your take profit, I do mine based on structure. Next structure break, you know, or like the 50 EMA on the 5 minute right here is where we're rejecting it. Touch the 1 minute. Those are all areas to put a take profit because, you know, a lot of times you might get a first reaction rejection there, you know, a lot of times. And if you don't want to give your trade enough time to breathe, just put that stop up there tight. Now, I could put it back down there, break even, and give this time to play out because it might want to pull back some before it keeps going. And that's how you got to do it in order to capitalize. If you was going to do that, say you'd come down here and put this at this structure break. Because what if they want to do a break of structure retest, which would be right here at this orb high line? These structures right here, right across, and the candle broke above this. They could retest that structure before bouncing higher. And so you would put your stop just below it. That way, if they retest it, they don't tag you. There's so many different ways to play it and put your stops here and there, and just based on what your risk is and what you're trying to lock in. Maybe going back to you had asked that question about strategy, eval versus funded. If this was an eval, maybe you would want to leave your stop closer to your break even mark. That way you could give it more room to run. When I'm in a funded, I'm going to follow it tighter because I want to lock in. Hope all that made. Little by little, I'm chipping at the block here. By little. If you're liking the streams, don't forget to smash that like button. If we could happen to run it back up to 25 likes, I'll give a copy of the Trader Mindset book away to someone in chat. Now, the better question for us here, is this going to be a lower high? Oh, wow. Yeah, the Bullinox is 7 on a 50K. Are you trading minis, I guess? If you're trading it's 7 minis or 70 micros. If you're trading MNQ, you can trade 70. Yeah. Anytime you look at a prop firm and it says a number like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, they're talking about minis. That's how many minis you can trade. And you can always trade 10 times that on the MNQ. I'll step away for just a second. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Yeah, see, looks like we found a nice little place where it would bounce from, but now we're putting in a lower high. So one would have to think, if they come back and take this low out right here, they could come back and retest this low, or they could, they could come down and protect it, or they could take it out. Thing is just below it we have the golden pivot and the 30-minute 50, and if they're trying to build back to the upside, aware of what's going there, because this is a lower high, but this is a higher low. So if they can push back up and put in a new high and another higher low, we could be changing the trend here, possibly. Have to be aware of it on both sides. When we just came back, I don't know if who all was on this morning when I was talking about it, but morning back here, we had broken through a 15-minute trend line, and we had sort of retested, closed on it. Well, we just came back, and this right here, when we dropped into this box here, that was I actually retested the 15. I'll pull it over. This right here is the 15 chart on the very end here, and we had broke through and made that push, and this is where we're at. We just retested that, and it pushed back up off that, and it closed above where I had said that we're gonna break 15-minute structure. If we close below, would have been this wick left. It's how being patient and waiting for stuff like that come around, because you can get chopped up in all this mess, but then pinpoint structure. That's why I'm so heavily talking about structure every day. It seems like the areas make a difference, but you need to wait and see how they react first. Or be really good at managing your trades and your risk if you try to front load on the initial. Because sometimes, I would have, if I had a box there, sometimes I'll put my orders in there and just let them pick them up on the initial reaction. But I waited for this one to build out because I want to see where that 15 candle closed before hopping in. I'd like for us to come on, keep driving this up. See, they retested this thing here. Could be on some kind of little W thing. About to put in a W right here, maybe. Also goes to say we finally hit the 30K. We was talking about it for a while now. Now that we hit it, maybe we're not going back up there. Who knows? Got to remember we got that big old gap. Needs to be filled too. Start over while we're waiting. This is from the other night when it gapped up Sunday night, right here. Red candle right down here, all the way to this candle here. And still have his green 4-hour imbalance. Still have not filled yet. Was a lot more than that, but we filled some of it back here overnight last night when we got this drop. Lots to take care of to the downside. It's gonna be hard for me to think about trying really to get long if they can't get back above the 5-minute 50 whole price up there. Might have to start thinking short side. But once again, it's just about giving them time, build it out and see where some things close. And ATR is like sitting around 15 or 6, 12 down, almost 12:30 market time. Still not getting above the 5-minute 50 here. They do. 1 minute. Don't know. How's everybody doing? Is everybody still green? Like K-Cat posted it Discord, locking it green across all her accounts. Wayne got locked. That ATR is down just under 10 now. Might slow down a little bit here, and see if they want to slow grind this back to the. Slow. I mean, sure ain't moving. Nice little push. They can push price back above 30K and hold. They start back into one of these pushes to the upside. I'd have to look for a long entry, pullback or something. First, they're going to have to get up here and show they're not going to reject in here like that. Looking pretty good. Good. think I'll be looking maybe play here. What a slow 30K. Pushing. Might try to push this on up to about 330. Well, I'd like to see him push it up into the 30 area before pulling back here. I'd like to see him a little higher, say 330 or so, and maybe put in a decent little pullback to get in long possibly. This is about where I'd want the pullback to be to get in, right around that 3,000. But I'd rather see it get up here on the 5-minute and break structure on the 5-minute, then pull back to retest 30K for like I'll get that. A little over 2 minutes for the 5-minute candle close up above. They could definitely get it up there in 2 minutes if they want to. And have about a 30-point pullback to the 30K level, maybe for a long. You guys are enjoying the streams, make sure to smash the like button, help push it out there on YouTube further. If we have any new members with us today, let us know in chat so we can welcome to the community. Kind of like I buy in if I want to get a little more of a back there. Would have thought they was going to. Validates what I was thinking in my head as far as trying to go long, because it never went up and tagged 330. 30, no, 30. Come on down. So rethink that. Anybody happen to take a short out of that? I wasn't paying close enough attention at it. For the bounce hold though. Try to hold. ATR sitting around. And didn't really act like it wanted to hold here. Not really sure what I'm going to look for as a trade at the moment. No, it pretty much came back down into this shelf it was building here. It took forever to get this leg out of. Back into the top side of it. Best bet for now is probably going to stay on the sidelines. Got about 10 minutes before it's 1 o'clock market time. I'm going to step away and let my animals out for a minute. I'll be right back.